Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to a hot and humid Western Australia. Well, it's very warm today, as you can see. I'm unfortunately sweating so much it's showing through my shirt already. I know, I'm going to call it out. It's obvious, isn't it? Today, though, getting near the end of January. Summer marching on for me. I love this hot weather, though. I'll be glad when it gets a little bit cooler. Today, we're going to take a look at the pens that I've been using this month. We're going to wrap the month up. I'm going to take a quick look at the 6 pens that I started the month with, and then what I'm going to do is rank them from my least favourite to my most favourite for the month. And it's a very subjective list, and to be honest, could change very easily. So join me now, down on the table, let's jump on in and take a look at the pens. Welcome down to the table. My pens in use for January 2024, it was using winning pens from last year. So the first pen, Jinhao 100 Centennial. Then we had the HongDian N8, the Majohn M800, the Opus 88 Koloro, just move this up so we can see them all, a Pelikan M205, and the Pilot Custom 823. It's quite a wide spread of prices there as well in my lineup. Which pen came in which position? So we'll start with the pen that came in at position number 6. For me this month, it was the Jinhao 100. This is the meteorite version. This is what I started the month off with. In here, we've got a Kiwi's Pens medium cursive italic nib. So not the nib that it came with. Partway through the month, I did swap. This ran out of ink, so I brought in then instead the Jinhao 100. This is the skeleton version, the transparent version. This one has got an extra fine nib. There we go. Now, there are a couple of little other differences between the two. I'm just going to take the bodies off these. I do think the converters are different. So if we take them out, there we go. So on the whole, the bodies are very similar, but it's when we get to these ends, they are slightly different. I'm guessing this has been done because of the transparent nature of that skeleton pen. Just pop these back together. I do love my Jinhao 100s. I've got about 5 of them now. Very nice pens to use. Very comfortable, consistent writers. They're predictable. You know what you're going to get when you start using them. Very comfortable in the hand. A nice fit. So Gary, why are you putting it at number 6? I can hear you all saying that. Well, I had to compare it against all the others. This is all about ranking. Against some other pens, this could have been position number 1. But I was ranking against the others, and that's why I decided, well, for this month, I'm going to give this position number 6. Position number 5. Well, that one goes to the HongDian N8. This is the Flying Feathers. Very similar look, size, shape to that Jinhao 100. There they are side by side. I mean, little minor cosmetic differences. I absolutely love the material in here. We've got a medium nib. Very nice writing nib. It's a cartridge converter. It needs cleaning out. I've finished this, but I just haven't cleaned it out yet. This was the second fill of ink. That's how much I enjoy it. We started the month with Colorverse Hubble, and then I switched over to Robert Oster Royal Red. I quite like this Royal Red. It's a bit of a darker red than what I was originally expecting. Just like the 100, it's a consistent writer. It's a pleasant writer. It's a nice shape. It's a nice feel. The nib, very nice. One of the nicest Chinese nibs that I've got. All in all, an attractive, simple-looking pen. Does look a little bit fancy where we've got the silver on here. I do like that we've got a little bit of translucency here in the body. So you can actually see there the converter through it. It's a nice pen. It's a nice writer. But again, we're talking about ranking here, not about how nice it is. Against other pens, similar to that 100, it could have come in. Well, it had come in at position number 1 because it's a winner from last year. So it's a tough market this month. But I'm ranking. So I've decided position number 5. So that's that beautiful HongDian N8. Just going to move these out of the way. So we take the top 2 off. Then we've got the remaining 4 pens there are left to be seen. This paper, by the way, is Oxford Optic paper, and this is a B5 notebook. Position number 4. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty where I was really struggling to pick between them. Position 4, I'm giving to the Pelikan M205. This is in this like blue marble colour. Very nice pen. Piston filling pen. The other 2 pens we've looked at so far, they were both cartridge converters. Of all the pens in today's selection, this one is the nicest nib. This is the nib I really enjoyed writing with. It is beautiful. It's got such an amazing amount of feedback. It's a steel nib. It writes so well. Why am I marking this down? Well, here, this is actually an ink window, but it's made of a dark material, so you can't actually see through it, which is a shame because that means that ink window is next to useless for me. I can understand why it's this colour. If it was transparent, it would just spoil the looks of the pen. You know, we're talking about a German-made pen. We're talking high quality, and it would look odd. But the choice I've made means it's not actually usable. So I never know how much ink is in here. No matter how I try, I cannot see through this. It is a small and a thin pen. Unposted, maybe I'd get away with it, but I find I need to use this pen posted. Doesn't add a lot of weight, doesn't take it off balance. It just feels nice when it's posted, but it's also very thin. You know, it's uncomfortable. I find after about maybe a quarter of a page, I start to get a little bit of an ache. And by the time I've written a couple of pages, my hand is just aching. So not a pen I can use for long note-taking sessions. Which is a shame because it is a beautiful pen. And because of that thinness, it doesn't matter how nice the nib is. If I'm not enjoying writing with it, it's not really much use, is it? So this is why I've decided to put this at position number 4. So that's the Pelikan M205. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Up next, position number 3. So we've got a choice of 3 pens. We've got the Majohn M800, the Opus 88 Koloro, or that Pilot Custom 823. Position number 3, I'm giving to the Majohn M800. I've said this many a time. The M800 model, one of my favourite Chinese pens, one of my first Chinese pens. This is the green version. There's 4 colours. I've got all 4 of the colours. This pen is a cartridge converter. This one's empty, has been cleaned out. The nib on this, I've swapped the nib. Downside with the M800's very limited choice of nibs. So I went for this. This is a Goulet Pens. It's a Yoho nib, and this is a broad. It gives a very nice line, as you can see here. And when we were doing last month's testing, you can see it dried very quickly. This ran out after about 2 weeks. So rather than fill this again, what I decided to do is use one of the other models. Because here we're talking about models, we're not talking specific pens. That's why I thought, let's move that so it's in the camera. Let's go with another M800. I went for the amber version. This was the very first Chinese pen that I bought. And yes, I know these pens, they are very heavily inspired by the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. I actually bought these to see if I'd like the shape before I went ahead and bought a Leonardo Momento Zero. I just said the Grande didn't. It's not the Grande, it's the Momento Zero. The Grande is a slightly bigger model. Here I do have the nib that came with it. This is a Bock Fine nib. There we go. So when you order an M800, you've got a choice. You can get a Moonman or a Majohn nib, or you can get the Bock nib. So I bought 2 with the Moonman and I bought 2 with a Bock. And as you can see with the green one, I've already changed one of those out, and that was a Moonman nib. Again, this is a cartridge converter. Just showing you that there. This one's still got ink in it. Not sure if I'm going to just clean this out. There's still a fair bit of ink, so I might put that into my pen case. The ink in here is by Lamy, and it's part of the Crystal series. Same as really with the green one, that was part of the Crystal series. But this one is Topaz, which I think goes quite well with this pen. Downsides of this pen, it's that nib choice. That's part of the reason why I've matte this down. I'm not into fine nibs anymore. I used to be, but I'm finding I prefer the broader nibs. And yes, I can swap them, which is what I've done. But that's fiddly, isn't it? And that means you're spending money to buy extra nibs. It would be nice to have that nib choice. Did have a couple of flow issues with this green one. A couple of shades like this solved it, but did have them flow issues. So for a lot of these reasons, and again, I'm ranking. There's nothing wrong with the pens. They're beautiful pens. I love using them. I've always got at least one inked up in my pen case. But I'm ranking, so this comes in at position number 3. So that's the Moonman M800. So we're left with 2 pens, the Opus 88 Koloro or the Pilot Custom 823. Position number 2. Very, very hard to pick this one. I love both of these pens. They're very, very nice. But position 2, I've given to the Pilot Custom 823. Very expensive pen. What, nearly 3 times the price, if not nearly 4 times the price of the Koloro. But still, I thought, how are we going to rank these? And when I was looking at it, I was thinking, well, I can't give this number 1 over that Koloro. It's a beautiful pen. It's a gold nib. 14 karat gold nib there, number 15 size nib. Very nice nib. Not one of my nicest Japanese nibs. I've got a couple of other Japanese pens, not in today's selection, which I think have got nicer nibs. This is a fairly stiff feeling nib. One of my other Pilot pens, the Pilot Custom Heritage 92, the nib on that is so bouncy and soft, very, very nice to work with. This one feels a lot stiffer. It's a broad nib. It does put down a beautiful line. It's a very, very consistent writer. The pen fits so nicely in my hand. It's got a nice length. It's got a nice width. It's got a nice balance. Although I don't post it, you can. I find posted it does feel very back heavy. It's a pen I enjoy writing with. A pen I can write pages and pages with. But the downside is cleaning it. This is a vacuum filler. As you can see, it's actually empty, so this is going to be cleaned out today. But that's not very good English, is it? But to fill it, I'm actually going to do this. You'd unscrew that end. I'm going to carefully pull this back. See how stiff it is. Maybe, yeah, that is fully out. There we go. Once it went up, it went, and it spat ink all over the place. Let me just mop that up. So you pull it back, then very carefully, obviously the other way around and dipped in the ink, you push this plunger up. Hopefully you can see the plunger going up. When it gets to about here, inside the barrel, it will open up. You'll see that happen in a second. The plunger will go a lot quicker. It released that vacuum. Hopefully that might have been caught on the mic. Releases the vacuum and it draws the ink up. Normally on a fill, I get half full. I can then, with a little bit of fiddling, I can get nearly 3/4 full. If I close this down, what that's done is that's sealed off the section from the body. So very nice mechanism, but it's a pain to clean, because to clean it, you could possibly take off the section. I don't intend to try that, because I've heard that there's certain parts inside it which are easy to lose, and if you lose them, renders the pen virtually unusable. So what I have to do is keep filling it, inverting it a couple of times, emptying it, filling it, and keep doing that. And then I have to keep doing that until it's run clear for at least 5 times. Just a nuisance. That's part of the reason why I've marked it down, I've got to be honest. So this pen comes in at position number 2. That's the Pilot Custom 823. I'll move this down ever so slightly. That means position number 1 goes to the Opus 88 Koloro. This is in blue. So the ebonite here, this is blue. Then the resin or the plastic, that's teal. Japanese eyedropper. So to fill it, you unscrew the section from the body. Then using a blunt nose syringe or an eyedropper, you inject your ink. You get an awful lot of ink in this pen. If you fill it fully, it takes a long, long time to get rid of. Oh, well, not get rid of, to write, should I say. If you want to get rid of it, it's easy. Just tip it down the sink. Now, there is a little bit of ink left in here. I am going to bite the bullet with this one. This one will be going to be cleaned out as soon as we're finished. We've got this here. You can see that I've got the cap unscrewed. It's got a very similar mechanism for sealing off the section from the body. So if I screw it down, that's now closed them off. If I unscrew it, that now opens it out and lets the ink flow freely. Beautiful soft nib. It's a steel nib, I believe made by Jinhao. This one's a broad, beautiful writing pen. Very nice. Nice fit in the hand. Just about perfect width, so my fingers aren't too close together. With this pen, I've sat for maybe 2 hours writing notes and not had any issues with it. Such a joy to write with. Very comfortable, very easy. Again, it is postable. I find it too long. Does make it a little bit back heavy as well. Just a joyful pen to use. I really do find that. So this comes in at position number 1. So that's the Opus 88 Koloro. And for the second month in a row, I've not brought any other pens in. So these are the only pens I've been using this month. Let's swap on over. We'll take a final look at the pens. So here's this month's pen holder. This was my Spider-Man one. The pens. We've got the Jinhao 100. Let's fetch them both out, shall we? Let's get that up there a bit. We've got the HongDian N8. The Pelikan M205. The Moonman or the Majohn M800. The Pilot Custom 823. And the Opus 88 Koloro. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I love these pens and uses. They really let me focus on a small number of pens each month and really get to know them and see how they perform. What pens have you been using this month? What pens are you planning to use next month? Why not drop a comment down below? Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.